Not every celeb couple can be a power couple, and let's be real, some pairs don't have nearly as much power together as they'd like to think that they do. These celebrity pairings are barely famous anymore, but they seem to be the last to know about it. Anyone want to deliver the memo?
Man, this is gonna be good!
Katherine Heigl was one of the most in-demand actresses in Hollywood in the early 2000s, with starring roles on Grey's Anatomy and a slew of rom-coms. But unfortunately for Heigl, her poor attitude on set and in the press led to her career stalling in a big way, leaving her resorting to commercials after being a marquee name. Heigl attempted several TV comebacks that stalled. As of late 2018, Heigl is starring on Suits after Meghan Markle exited the show to marry Prince Harry. But according to Fox News, it looks like Markle took the Suits ratings with her when she left. Heigl's husband, Kelley, had a few minor adult contemporary hits in the early 2000s and has since moved to Nashville in hopes of kickstarting a country music career. But the poor guy has had trouble getting any of his work to chart. Heidi Montag and Spencer Pratt have been clinging to the last remains of relevance they had since The Hills ended in 2010. Pratt has admitted that they staged paparazzi shoots for themselves to generate interest and that they blew their entire fortune on attempting to live like A-listers, telling people, "We should have stayed in our reality TV lane." Radar Online reported Montag's slew of plastic surgeries likely set them back as well.
That was definitely a challenging time.
The pair clearly didn't realize that reality fame is fleeting unless you're a Kardashian and have Kris Jenner around for guidance. Still, they've tried to stay in the spotlight if only because they literally have no other ideas on how to pay their bills.
Do you miss the celebrity life?
I miss, the money, of course.
Since their days on The Hills, the celeb couple has appeared on several other reality TV shows, including Celebrity Big Brother and Marriage Boot Camp reality stars. And they're attempting to make a comeback through Pratt's Snapchat videos and with The Hills reboot. If you're still wondering who the heck these two even are, well, that's the point. Ashlee Simpson and Evan Ross are trying really hard to make a name for themselves with their e-reality show Ashlee and Evan, as well as their music. They landed their first charting single, I Do, in September 2018. But prior to that, Simpson hadn't charted since Little Miss Obsessive peaked at number 96 on the Billboard Hot 100 in 2008. And Ross never quite harnessed his legendary mom's cultural impact despite his small roles in big movies like The Hunger Games, Mockingjay Part 1 and 2. On Ashlee and Evan, Ross actually turns down what the show claims is a lucrative acting gig to work on a collaborative album with Simpson, and reviewers of the show were quick to point out that the couple required a ton of exposition and Diana Ross cameos to remind viewers of who they are.
What's nice about this show and about what you will see with it is I do want people to get to know us.
The ratings for Ashlee and Evan aren't good, which they probably should have expected considering the New York Daily News reported that the couple couldn't even sell their wedding photos to the press in 2014. The same year Ross did The Hunger Games and would have been at his peak relevance. Jessica Simpson isn't as big of a star as she once was, and her husband Eric Johnson played in the NFL for 7 years before retiring in 2008 without much fanfare, according to E! News. He became Mr. Jessica Simpson in July 2014, making that his full-time job. Simpson herself has largely dodged the spotlight, opting instead to focus on her fashion line, which Forbes reported is worth $1 billion. However, she's had a tough time breaking back into the music business, admitting to Ellen in 2017 that she'd written 38 songs but had yet to release any of them.
But somehow you have $1 billion business. All right.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, it is awesome.
It can happen for anybody.
Insiders told Radar Online that Simpson was desperate to get back to recording and hoped to use Ashlee and Evan as a platform to deliver her music to the world again, but that her sister was apprehensive about the move. The source claimed, Jessica wanted to sing one of Diana Ross's iconic songs, but Ashlee thought it was insulting. Ashlee is all for Jessica performing on her show, but she won't hesitate to cut Jessica off if she doesn't sing and look her best.
I'm on their show, definitely a big moment.
Considering Ashlee and Evan isn't exactly a hit, it may not matter if Jessica performs at all. Lachey was famous for singing in 98 Degrees and then for being married to Jessica Simpson. When Newlyweds launched in 2003, he was the bigger star between the two, but Simpson quickly eclipsed him with chestnuts about Chicken of the Sea. And then the two broke up in 2005, as People reported.
Is this chicken what I have, or is this fish? I know it's tuna, but it says chicken by the sea.
After the split, Lachey moved on with then MTV VJ Vanessa Minnillo, who starred in his post-split music video for What's Left of Me, and the two married in 2011, according to Billboard. Minnillo, a pageant queen turned personality, hasn't done much of relevance since tying the knot, save for competing against her husband on Dancing with the Stars.
Nick's in the next room.
Motivate.
Lachey took on a series of hosting gigs and also opened a bar in his hometown of Cincinnati with brother Drew, which they documented on Lachey's Bar on A&E in 2015. But the bar closed its doors for good in February 2018. He's since gone back to touring with 98 Degrees in venues much smaller than they played in their prime. Since the final installment of the Twilight Saga in 2012, Nikki Reed has appeared in a handful of low-key film and TV projects. She attempted a music career when she was married to American Idol loser Paul McDonald from 2011 to 2015, but Billboard reported they were already separated before their album was ever released.
The ability to stay connected and in the same place physically is a real priority and more important than almost anything.
Somerhalder, who Reed married in 2015, not long after her divorce from McDonald was finalized, hasn't done much since The Vampire Diaries ended in 2017, though he's slated to star in the TV series V-Wars in 2019, which is yet another vampire-themed show. Maybe they'll start considering their own relevance before refusing to take photos for fans, like Daily Mail reported they did in Paris in 2015. Eddie Cibrian and LeAnn Rimes were once famous enough to co-star in a 2009 Lifetime original called Northern Lights when they were married to other people. Cibrian was hitched to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star Brandi Glanville, and Rimes was married to dancer Dean Charamet. Up to that point, Rimes' music career had fizzled, and Cibrian was a working actor with a few bit parts here and there.
Our relationship didn't quite start off like we had planned.
The scandal surrounding their relationship kept them relevant for about 5 more years. But by the time Cibrian and Rimes embarked on their own VH1 reality show, LeAnn and Eddie, in 2014, their beef with Glanville was nearly over, and so was any real public interest in their relationship. The show was canceled after just 8 episodes.
We realized that we're the adults here and we have to act like adults.
Perhaps thanks to Glanville's hot mess of press, Cibrian actually eclipsed his second wife in fame. He recurred on Baby Daddy in 2015 and 2016 and on Rosewood from 2016 to 2017. He also starred in Take Two with Rachel Bilson, which premiered in 2018. Rimes has only had one charting single since embarking on her relationship and eventual marriage to Cibrian, with her track Give peaking at number 47 on the Hot Country Songs chart in 2011. Jenny McCarthy was a famous playmate and a former host of MTV's Singled Out. As far as acting work, she's had bit parts and occasional recurring roles, but she's had a bit more success as a TV personality, including a brief stint on The View in 2014 and hosting gigs for Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve. Her husband, Donnie Wahlberg, has fared better acting-wise, nabbing a starring role on the still-running Blue Bloods in 2010 and the Saw franchise. He still occasionally performs with New Kids on the Block and works with his brothers and his mom for Wahlburgers.
I could run this restaurant without even breaking a sweat.
But it's when Wahlberg and McCarthy are together that people apparently can't stand them. Donnie Loves Jenny, a reality show chronicling their courtship and marriage, ran from just 2015 to 2016.
Can you please stop that? Please stop.
Ever since Fury in 2014, Shia LaBeouf's been better known for his troubles with alcohol and run-ins with the law than he has been for his work. FKA Twigs is a singer and dancer who garnered more press for her relationship with Robert Pattinson than she did for her work. That's what makes her partnership with LaBeouf particularly sad. While Twigs and Pattinson went to great lengths to keep their relationship under wraps, Twigs actually confirmed her relationship with LaBeouf to the Daily Mail herself in an interview conducted through her house intercom. But could it all be a publicity stunt? The pair reportedly met on the set of 2019's Honey Boy, but based on the lack of buzz that surrounded the movie so far, this may or may not help them each become relevant again.